278th, probably. That one. Buryat, that's how it is waiting for Russia.
There's not a single Russian.
Ukrainian aviation continues precision strikes across all fronts. A hangar packed with Russian APCs, Kamaz trucks and troops, was hit with a 4 GBU39 bomb drop after recon confirmed the target. Direct delivery. Ukrainian precision airstrikes are wreaking havoc among Russian troops and logistics. Right on schedule, FPV pilots of the 5th Assault Brigade are effectively targeting Russian equipment in the Kramatorsk direction. Armored vehicles, fortifications, and infantry were destroyed. The battle in the Kramatorsk direction has intensified, with Russian forces escalating their assaults in an attempt to breach Ukrainian defenses. Ukrainian troops have successfully repelled multiple attacks, inflicting significant losses on the aggressors. According to the General Staff of Ukraine's armed forces, Russian forces have focused their efforts on the Kramatorsk axis, launching numerous assaults that have been met with staunch resistance. Ukrainian defenders have managed to hold their positions, causing substantial enemy casualties and equipment losses. The intensity of the conflict in this region underscores the strategic importance of Kramatorsk. Despite the Russian military's attempts to gain ground, Ukrainian forces remain resilient, demonstrating effective defensive operations and tactical proficiency. As the situation evolves, the determination and strength of Ukrainian troops continue to play a crucial role in countering the ongoing aggression and maintaining control over key territories in the Kramatorsk direction. So this is how we fight for Russia. Not a single Russian here. The entire essence of the Kremlin's national policy in 45 seconds.
Something like that, right?
Sometimes that's how it is at the front. When they gather like this, I, Niv, my brother, his Chukcha.
Yakut. Yakut.
Yakuts. The Yakuts have gathered again.
Cossack. The Tajik hasn't left yet.
Yukagir.
278th, probably. That one. Buryat, that's how it is waiting for Russia.
There's not a single Russian.
Fighters from the Heart Border Guard Brigade have destroyed 2 Russian ammunition depots and a drone control point in the Vovchansk sector. According to Ukrinform, this was reported by Ukraine's State Border Guard Service, which also released a video of the operation. Drone operators and mortar teams from the Heart Brigade carried out a series of strikes against enemy strongholds in the Vovchansk sector. In particular, soldiers from the Furia Strike UAV unit destroyed 2 ammunition depots and a Russian UAV control point. Earlier, State Border Guard Service spokesperson Andriy Demchenko, when asked about the most difficult areas of the front, noted that the most challenging operational situation within the area of responsibility of the State Border Guard Service currently lies in the Sumy and Kharkiv regions, as well as near Kramatorsk in the Donetsk region. Shipments of U.S. military aid to Ukraine continue. Washington is also working with its NATO allies to deliver additional Patriot air defense systems, Secretary of State Marco Rubio said. At the same time, he suggested that the United States does not have any Patriots to spare. The Ukrainians asked for air defense systems, Patriot systems, which frankly we don't have, Rubio said during a Senate Foreign Relations Committee hearing. But we are working with our NATO allies. Some NATO allies have Patriot batteries that they could provide or transfer to Ukraine to protect the airspace over Kyiv or elsewhere. We're working with our partners to arrange delivery of some of these systems. As you can imagine, none of these countries want to give up their Patriots. Rubio noted that after a 1-week pause in military aid to Ukraine in March, equipment deliveries are now ongoing. They are still receiving weapons from the United States, those approved under the prior administration, he added. The White House will decide whether to consult Congress about providing additional aid to Ukraine. But everything that has been approved is continuing. He also warned that Ukraine is using munitions faster than the West can produce them. The European Union has imposed additional restrictive measures against 3 Russian organizations involved in the development and use of chemical weapons in Ukraine. The European Council's press service announced this. The sanctions apply to 3 structures within the Russian armed forces: the Radiochemical and Biological Defense Forces, the 27th Scientific Center, and the 33rd Central Research and Testing Institute of the Russian Ministry of Defense. The European Council notes that the decision was taken on the basis of reports by the Organization for the Prohibition of Chemical Weapons, published in November 2024 and February 2025. These documents confirm the presence of chemical substances for combating mass unrest, particularly CS2-chlorobenzylammonium nitrile and related compounds, in samples collected on the front lines in Ukraine. Such substances have been used by Russian troops in Ukraine as a method of warfare, which is a violation of the Chemical Weapons Convention, to which Russia is a state party, the statement reads. At the same time, it is emphasized that the Russian Federation has not provided a credible explanation for the widespread use of these agents. Given the seriousness of the situation, and to strengthen the global norm against the use of chemical weapons, the EU calls on the OPCW to establish in a timely manner the facts of the proven use of riot control agents as a method of warfare, the statement notes. The European Council also recalled that EU sanctions against the development and use of chemical weapons currently cover 25 individuals and 6 organizations. They are subject to restrictions in the form of asset freezes, bans on providing financial or economic resources, and, for individuals, a ban on entry into the EU. The first use of Russian RGVO handheld chemical grenades in Ukraine was recorded in 2023. On May 29, 2024, the propaganda channel RT published a video on social media documenting the throwing of an RGVO grenade at a dugout with Ukrainian soldiers. According to expert analysis, traces of the irritant chemical agent chloracetophenone were found in the substance released after the grenade exploded. Chloracetophenone is prohibited for use as a chemical warfare agent under the Geneva Protocol, adopted by the UN General Assembly in 1969. Its ban was reinforced after the substance was used during the Vietnam War. CN directly affects the mucous membranes, causing severe irritation of the eyes and respiratory tract, burning, and pain in the eyes, nose, throat, and lungs. It also causes sneezing, coughing, nasal congestion, and a feeling of suffocation. In addition to RGVO, Russian invasion forces also use K-51 gas grenades, which have a tear-inducing effect and contain CS, another irritating chemical. Russia first used K-51 during the battle for Donetsk airport in 2015. The K-51 grenade is considered particularly effective against personnel in enclosed spaces without personal protective equipment. Its effect is much stronger than that of conventional grenades used to disperse demonstrations, as the K-51 was developed specifically for the needs of the Army and security forces. The grenade explodes with a delay of approximately 3 to 4 seconds after activation. Podolyak reflected on the recent negotiations in Istanbul. At the Istanbul talks, Russia demanded Ukraine surrender non-occupied territories, abandon its sovereignty, alliances, arms industry, and Western weapons, Zelensky's top advisor Podolyak told Rzeczpospolita. He added the Russian delegation acted arrogantly, just like in 2022. North Korean dictator Kim Jong-un could be held accountable for supporting Russia's war against Ukraine. Kyiv may file a complaint against the Democratic People's Republic of Korea with the International Criminal Court. It is time to hold Kim Jong-un accountable at the ICC, said former ICC President Song Song-hyun, adding that Pyongyang's military assistance to Russia has provided Ukraine with the legal grounds to file a complaint against North Korea. Most Americans would have preferred a tougher stance from President Donald Trump's administration against Russia and its dictator, Vladimir Putin, according to a Harvard Capps-Harris poll published on May 20th. Specifically, 59% of respondents said Trump was not tough enough in his dealings with Putin. Yahoo News reported that more than 60% believe Putin is dragging out peace talks involving the United States and support arming Ukraine and imposing extra sanctions if Moscow continues to stall. Two-thirds of those surveyed said they feel Putin is playing around and dragging out negotiations for a peace deal, while only 34% believe he sincerely wants to end the war. In contrast, 62% said they trust Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky's declared aim of ending the conflict. Another 62% said the Trump administration should continue supplying weapons to Ukraine and impose further economic sanctions against Russia if it refuses to engage in negotiations. 38% opposed additional arms shipments and sanctions. On May 19th, Trump held a roughly 2-hour phone call with Putin, after which he announced that Kyiv and Moscow would begin direct talks. Since Moscow has not signaled any plans to revise its maximalist demands, any immediate peace talks are unlikely to bring an end to the fighting.
Thanks for watching, and don't forget to subscribe. Also, if you want to support Warthog Defense, please become our member and get early access to new videos, exclusive members-only videos, and become administrator in comment section. The membership link is in the description.
Every day. We had a guy last week at 6 rescues in 6 days. You know, he's doing the job every day.